breaking news alerts, overnight news, plus weather and traffic every 10 minutes. This is CBS 47 on your side this morning.
We were speechless when we heard it. I played it for my wife, and she was like, what do you think it could possibly be?
New on CBS 47 this morning, South Valley parents in shock after an elementary school janitor gets thrown in jail.
Ahead of massive automatic spending cuts, the government starts releasing illegal immigrants from detention centers. I'm Susan McGinnis in Washington. Coming up, Republicans call the move a political scare tactic.
It's for Anheuser-Busch to be honest on their labels about what it is they're putting in the product.
This bud's for you. Beer drinkers suing over watered-down brew. 2 different lawsuits over Budweiser. It is 6:30. Good morning to you on this Wednesday. I'm Zara Arboleta. Thanks as always for starting your morning with us. Here's a pretty picture. Look at our Fresno Skyview camera. Jenny's standing by with our forecast on this collection day.
That's right. Good morning, Zara. Good morning, everybody. It's going to be a gorgeous day for you to swing by our studios and help donate and help out those foster children. So let's take a look at where our temperatures are right now. Not too cold. We're down around 33 in Lemoore, 34 in Hanford. So it's chilly down there, but above the freezing mark. Had some limited frost this morning. Most of the valley in the mid to upper 30s with 42 in Fresno right now, 36 in, let's see, Tulare and Merced at the moment. Temperatures will rise quickly. We're in the upper 40s by 8 a.m., mid 50s by 10 o'clock, low 60s by noon with 67 for your high today. That's in the shade. So in the sunshine, it's going to feel like 70s. We'll check out the rest of your forecast in a couple of minutes.
New this morning, CBS 47 breaking the news to parents late last night in Visalia. A janitor at Oak Grove Elementary under arrest. We got his mugshot into our newsroom overnight. 30-year-old Antonio Cordova now on leave. He's accused of committing disturbing acts on children. South Valley parents heard the news first from an automated message, but not much news.
I have been investigating some allegations against an employee at our school.
I was driving by and saw the news crew out here, and just living close by like this, it was a little concerning.
Several moms and dads didn't even hear about what happened until CBS 47 crews told them. A janitor under arrest for lewd acts on a child.
Yeah, stuff like this just does not happen, and so that's why it was a little concerning for me.
In custody, 30-year-old Antonio Cordova, who works at Oak Grove Elementary School. The victims, apparently 2 students.
Yeah, it's absolutely mind-boggling. This is one of the outstanding schools. It's recognized by the state of California as one of the better schools, and to hear that is just devastating.
Joseph Buell has a first grader at Oak Grove.
Makes me concerned because if it's a custodian, it could have been any kid. It's not maybe isolated to one particular room. Or
this dad wishing he got more information on the case.
I wish they would have been a little more forthright in telling us what it was. And after what you said, I was completely shocked. So
we are working to get more information from the school district and Visalia Police. We'll have an update for you today at noon. Also new this morning, an office shooting in Switzerland. At least 3 people are dead, 7 others injured. Someone walked in and started firing at Kronospan. That's a wood processing company. Investigators still trying to figure out the shooter's motive and whether he or she was a former employee. We'll have an update on this story on CBS this morning. And in Santa Cruz, police are mourning 2 detectives killed in the line of duty. They were following up on an investigation yesterday afternoon when Jeremy Goulet shot them. He was also killed. This is the first time Santa Cruz has ever lost an officer on the job. A teenager in Porterville continues to recover this morning after a deadly crash there. It happened after police tried to pull over a driver for a possible DUI. This was near Olive and Plano. While officers were dealing with the driver, though, a passenger in the car jumped into the driver's seat, headed out of there, but then crashed into a tree.
Worst case scenario, we're looking at a possible DUI arrest, maybe an open container, if there were indications that there was an open container in the vehicle, maybe even a worst case scenario of contributing alcohol to a minor. But all of those offenses don't have any weight compared to having 2 lost lives.
The driver who took off in the car died, along with another teenager. The 3rd passenger will recover. A former Valley High School basketball coach now awaiting trial. A judge ruled there is enough evidence against Lauren LeBeau to go to trial. He's accused in a drunk driving crash last summer that killed 7-year-old Donovan Maldonado. LeBeau's attorney admits his client was under the influence, but hopes the family won't put LeBeau through the ordeal of a criminal trial.
If there's a way we can handle this case that makes it easier on them, we would like to do it in that way.
LeBeau heads back to court March 13th for an arraignment. And police in Dinuba need your help this morning. They're trying to find a missing woman. 25-year-old Renee Gutierrez disappeared almost 2 weeks ago on Valentine's night. She apparently walked away from her home in Dinuba. She lived near Alta and Sierra. She's considered at risk because her family says she usually tells them where she's going. If you have any information, please call the Dinuba Police Department. Let's take a look at Wall Street this morning. The Dow off to a positive start, but just 4 points up after 5 minutes of trading. It's standing at 13,904. New this morning from Washington, Chuck Hagel has been confirmed as the new Secretary of Defense. It happened just in the last hour. He was sworn in after a bitter fight for his nomination. Former colleagues call him hostile toward Israel and soft on Iran. Hagel will address civilian and uniformed employees at the Department of Defense later today. Much more on this story on CBS This Morning. The feds are taking action ahead of mandatory budget cuts that hit the government this Friday. The Department of Homeland Security is now letting illegal immigrants out of detention centers. And as Susan McGinnis reports, Republicans call this a scare tactic.
The government is releasing hundreds of illegal immigrants from detention centers across the country. Officials say they had no choice because of the across-the-board budget cuts which kick in Friday.
I'm supposed to have 34,000 detention beds for immigration. How do I pay for those?
In Pennell County, Arizona, Sheriff Paul Babu says Congress is dumping its problems on him.
A mass budget pardon. You never heard of such a thing. They're being pardoned because of the budget. It's insanity.
House Speaker John Boehner says the Obama administration is trying to scare Americans.
I can't believe that they can't find the kind of savings they need out of that department, short of letting criminals go free.
But Speaker Boehner says he won't put forward any legislation to avoid the cuts. He says the House already passed 2 bills to do that, and now it's up to the Senate.
We're doing our best here to pass something.
Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid says he knows why the House isn't working on new legislation.
And the reason he's not bringing up something over there, because he can't pass it. He can't get his caucus to agree on anything.
Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke says Congress needs to do something. He says budget cuts should come over the next decade, but not now when they are likely to hurt the economic recovery.
It doesn't quite match to be doing tough policies today when the real problem is a somewhat longer-term problem.
Bernanke will testify before the House Financial Services Committee today. Susan McGinnis, CBS News, Washington.
New this morning, Anheuser-Busch is reassuring customers it does not water down its beer. The country's #1 brewer is responding to a lawsuit, 2 of them actually, that challenges the alcohol content in its drinks. One of the suits was filed here in California. Beer drinkers believe they've been shortchanged.
I think the truth will come out. I think that you're going to see a number of people coming forward with these types of allegations, and hopefully, if it is a situation where they're doing it across the board at all their breweries, both domestically and overseas, that it'll come to an end.
Lawyers won't say how much the drinkers want, but the case is estimated to be worth about $5 million. 6:38, 40 degrees, a $15 million project planned at Yosemite National Park, and the park folks want your input on it. It was one of the highest scoring games in history, but could the Kings pull the upset against King James? And here's an innovative idea in the South Valley, how people there are helping pet owners. But first, here's a live look right outside our studios, the CBS 47 collection drive. We're getting help from Sleep Train to help foster children around the Central Valley.
First on CBS This Morning, an infamous mafia prince breaks his silence in an interview with our John Miller. He describes his life as a hitman, why he turned on the mob, and how he earned the nickname Crazy Phil. Those stories and more when we see you at 7 o'clock.